So, the toughest interview question that you'll ever get? Do you know what it is yet? Have you been thinking about it? You got one more chance. Give it a shot. What do you think it is? Say it out loud. Well, actually, here it is. So, tell me about yourself. And the reason it's such a tough question is that people go on with all kinds of nonsense that don't help them, don't show off what a good fit they are for an interview, nor does it help them get the job. So this week's video assignment is to video record a 2 to 3 minute response to that question. So tell me about yourself. And so here's how this goes. Here's how you prepare for that question in an interview. And for this assignment, you're going to go through a little mini career search process. I want you to choose an industry that you are interested in. I want you to find a company in that industry that you could imagine working for. And I want you to find a job description in that company. So I gave you a bunch of lists, right? There's People's Bank, there's Home Depot. Housatonic hires all the time, hires students. UPS is hiring, Amazon is hiring. You may have Yale New Haven hospitals are hiring, nursing homes and long-term care facilities are hiring, rehab hospitals are hiring. You may be in an industry already and you can use this assignment to think about next level or tangential jumps. You may never have had a job ever, and CVS, Walgreens are hiring. You may imagine, you need 15, you're looking for 20, you're looking for $25 an hour while you're in school. So you get some choices, you get some reflection, and this is most interesting when it's real, but you can also, use a little bit of fantasy, but you're really you, and these jobs are really jobs. And so that's how we're going to do that. So let me show you an example real quickly. So let's make believe that I am going to, I want to start my own, I want to be part of my own construction company. I'm interested in real estate and land management and buildings and apartments. I know you make a lot of money in buildings and apartments. And so I'm good with my hands and I like, this is all kind of true. But more importantly, I am pretty handy with my hands and I love working in the yard and I love trees. So that's all true. But more importantly, my husband is an interior designer. And so if I think of myself as part of a team, as part of a marriage team, he's always looking for good construction people in the trades. He manages projects, and so he needs people to do the stuff that he designs. He needs carpenters, he needs plumbers, he needs tile people, he needs installers of all kinds, he needs landscape people. So if I'm really being honest to myself, my real life, my real family, a job that I could imagine, wherever I leave Housatonic, I'm going to imagine that I'd want to work for Home Depot. Actually, Home Depot is got anti-gay stuff. So the guy who owns it is a jerk. But Lowe's, okay, maybe it's Home Depot / Lowe's, and I'm going to go apply for a job in this company. Go to the website, I do my research. Are they hiring? They are. What are they hiring for? Well, they're hiring for sales associates, they're called. Although I'm not so sure about that title. I'm lying, I haven't really done my Home Depot Lowe's research, but you will, and maybe you can find career opportunities, job titles. So you're gonna try to find a real job title that's for real. All right, let's make believe I sent in a resume and I get called for an interview. Or maybe it's not even a resume there, I just have to fill out, like at Walmart, they're hiring, you can fill it out online. Right there at the store, they're so desperate for people. Walmart, that's another place. I hate Walmart, but they're hiring. So I've got the industry, which is construction or real estate. I have the title, Home Depot or Lowe's, and I have I have the position sales associate. So my next research job is to think about 3 things that they might be looking for. I can imagine, or I can do this from research. It might be in the job description right away, not the qualifications, but what they're looking for. But let's say I can think of 3 on my own. I know that they want somebody who has experience with their product. They want somebody with some kind of product knowledge in landscaping and or construction, because they sell lumber and they sell trees. I know, so some product experience. I know that this is a public sales job, so they're going to need people skills, communication skills. And I know that it's a company that hires from within. They promote. They have they think it's good. You start there and you go up to shift manager and then to department manager, and they like to hire from within. So this is a company that's interested in people who are interested in training and learning skills. Now there are other 3 points that you might know better than me or might imagine, but this is okay for the purpose of the assignment. I've got the industry, I've got the company, I've got the position, and now I'm coming up with 3 things that I think they're interested in. So now what I have to do is I have to tell my story. I have to talk about my real life lived experience in that addresses these 3 points. And I got to do it in 2 minutes or 3 minutes total. So let me try. So tell me about yourself. Well, I love to work with my hands. I have always done so. My dad was a handyman. We had a workbench in the garage, and I remember learning how to saw and how to drill and building my first bookshelf and my first birdhouse. And as I got older, my dad would bring me around all the place, fixing stuff up. And so I've always been interested in all the stuff you get at a hardware store. And in later in high school, I had my own lawn mowing service, and I worked on a small team. And so I've been out in yards, and I've dealt with lawn blowers and with mulch piles and so forth. So the world of Home Depot interests me. I'm good with my hands. I also want you to know that I'm a real people person. My friends say that I'm a good listener, and I am especially good with dealing with conflict. I was in all kinds of clubs in high school, one of which was the prom committee. And the reason I'm telling you about the prom committee is because you don't know how people can fight until you get them on the prom committee. There were arguments about everything, about the theme, about the dress code, about the bands that we were going to hire. And, there were about 10 or 12 of us on the committee, and people had really strong opinions. And one of the things that I was good at was calming people down, because you can't solve any problems when people are upset. So I kind of got really good at dealing with angry people and helping people back up and take a few breaths and slow down and figure out a solution that would work for everybody. So that's one of the skills I think, I'm very proud of. And I think if you talk to people who knew me, they would say that I'm a kind of a calm guy. I don't get flustered easily, and I'm really good with conflicts, with arguments, and with people who are stressed. So I'm good with my hands. I'm pretty good with people, and I'm also a real learner. I've never had a job where I didn't learn a bunch of stuff that I thought could be useful. I'm always curious about new skills I can acquire, about new expertise in the people around me. When I was on my lawn mowing thing back in the day, we were like 3 or 4 people. It was a small team, but the guy who ran it up was taught me all kinds of stuff about small engines, so I could get the lawnmowers running, and I could deal with oil, and I could deal with gas, and he taught me. I learned how to take lawnmower blades off and how to sharpen them. So he didn't have to do it all the time. I picked up that and I took one thing off his load and it made the team more efficient. And I had this, little skill. I can really work with a sharp blade. So that's just an example of wherever I am, I know there's people who know stuff that I don't. And I seek them out and I try to build my knowledge base as much as I can. That's another reason I'm excited about Home Depot. There are all kinds of people here with all kinds of skills, and I really look forward to being part of a team where I can constantly grow. So that's who I am. I'm a guy who loves to work with his hands. I'm a good people person, and I'm a learner, and I'm really excited to be part of the Home Depot team. Okay, are you going to hire me? So that's an example of a 3-point story about myself that answers the question, so tell me about yourself. And notice, it doesn't invite us to say, well, I grew up in Shelton and I love dogs and I'm 5 people in my family, all of which is important to your story, but not relevant to the job. And when you respond to this question with a thoughtful, focused, rehearsed, practice, 3-point response that shows that you know what the company is about, that you know what the position's about, and we don't care where you got the experience. We don't care if you have a job or a title or even a degree. We care what you can do. So think about the 3 things that would be useful for this position and then reflect in your own life experience, backing it up with details that you can demonstrate those things. Normally, I like speeches when you're standing up because you can see my hands moving against my dark background. Even though I don't have a tie, you can see my expressiveness. But in an interview, you have to sit. And so I'm going to suggest that these videos, you also sit. I don't even have pants on. I still have my sneakers on from my run this morning. But here's how this goes. So I'm in a chair. And what we don't want is you to interview like this. So, right, we really hate, the man spreader on the subway look. We don't want this. We don't want you leaning on your elbows or on the chair or with your hands like this, because that's going to freeze up and muffle your voice. So if you have to do formal speech in a chair, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pull your back up. Sorry, this is hard to film for me. I need a video guy. So that you're sitting on the front half of the chair. Anybody who was in band knows this from band and orchestra. So you're sitting up from the chair. And to do this, you kind of have to do funky, your feet are out here. But what really helps is if you take one foot square and then tuck the other foot back. And you'll find that your torso will come up, that your rib cage will be free, that you'll have back resonance, and it will make your voice, it'll make you look like you're alert and like you really care, and that you're on, and that this is important. You're communicating your interest and your excitement, and you're communicating that with your bones, not with anything else. You'll find your voice will be more live, your inflection will be better. So both feet here, then tuck it back, and you'll feel your chest. So practice this at home in a chair. And when you're taping these videos this week, when you're recording them, set up your camera or find a friend if you can to set it up so that you can do this seated, but back free and hands at the ready to be as communicative as they want to be or not. If you don't know what to do with your hands, just touch your fingers here and put them there. Because why? Well, it's the most unnatural position you could have. Your fingers won't stay there. Before you know it, they will be smart hands and smart fingers doing things, running through your material in ways that are natural, that are expressive, and that are true to who you are, and serving the idea. You don't have to think about your hands. Put them here, and before you know it, they'll be going in all the directions they need to be expressive. So I've talked about 3 points: telling your story, focusing it on to the job position. It's going to show all kinds of research. You'll have learned the terms of the organization. You'll have read the mission statement. You'll have thought about, gosh, what are the skills they're really probably looking for? How can my story talk about those skills? So the last thing I simply want to say about interviews, you've gotten there early, you know where you're going, you've gone into the bathroom and you've wiggled around and you've breathed and you've done all that you can to warm up and wake up and activate your bones and your breath and your buzz so that you've interrupted any of this, nervousness that's tightening up the muscles and shrinking you as a person. So it really is important. You may not be able to do the whole vowel dance, but go into the bathroom, make sure you have no spinach in your teeth, check your drag, your hair, and quickly shake out, shake out your bones, a little bit of breath, a little bit of vibration so that you're ready when you come in. So warm up. 2, the minute you're on the property, realize that anybody that you see or talk to might be interviewing you. The doorman, the security guy, the receptionist, the secretary, every person that you bump into may get a call after that interview to ask how you were. What did they think? So be on guard, be kind and gracious to everyone. The interviewer may not be the only person who's assessing you. All kinds of people in that organization might be looking and noticing you. And that brings up another point about being kind and gracious and well-mannered. It's really good advice everywhere, even on campus. You don't know, everybody on campus has the potential to hire you for a job. So everybody at Housatonic is an opportunity to, quote, network with. Including me, I hire people all the time. I hire people for my projects, I hire people for my husband's projects, and so do all the professors on this campus. We're recruit out of our classrooms all the time. So how you behave in class, how you act in the hallway, how you make appointments with us and come to office hours, how you teach us about who you are and what you can do, all of that is career building. It's not just nice. It's not just good for your grades. It's career building. It's networking. Keep that in mind, right? Any chance you have to meet a professor one-on-one and just tell them about yourself, to work with me at conferences online. I'm so curious about who you are, and and what you can do for me on campus, in my other projects, for my family. What resources might you have? Who do you know that I might want to hire? By the way, we really need a cleaning lady or a cleaning man. So if anybody has any connections in the world of somebody who cleans houses all the way up in New Haven, please get back to me. We'll hire them. Beat after the pandemic. But Wilma retired and we're kind of clueless without somebody to help us at the house. Okay, so networking is all the time. I have students who have hired other students out of my classes that they worked with. I've had students who were hiring managers. I had a student who was a hiring manager at UPS. And while she was my student, hired 12 different people, got them into UPS at really high paying jobs. Who knew? So that's just an ongoing thing. That's one of the things that makes college so great. It's public. There's all kinds of people, all kinds of worlds are mixed up. And there's nothing more gracious. Nothing feels better than to have somebody be curious about you. I love it when people say, hey, Captain, how are you? How's it going for you this semester? That's a really gracious question. I love to say, wow, it's hard as hell. I've never done anything like this. Thank you for asking. So you can ask professors, you can ask each other, you can ask colleagues in this class, you can email, you can discussion board. Think about how the discussion board is a networking opportunity. Who do you already know better because of all our discussion boarding? So networking is all the time, and it's a real shift. I mean, it's hard to do in our little bubbles on our screens far away. But as we get back on campus in the fall, in the summer maybe even, realize that there's all kinds of resources around us all the time. So being gracious, being kind, being well-mannered, and being curious about people, learning how to ask people questions and listen to their answers, it's just a great way. And people love it. Everybody loves talking about themselves. And it gives you information that can be really useful to you personally, professionally, spiritually, in all kinds of ways. All right, so there's some more tips from Captain Kirk about interviews. You have a chance in the discussion board to talk about what you found interesting in these videos, and then your assignment is this wonderful 2 to 3 minute interview answer. And by the way, you have to do one, that's 100 points, but if you want to, you can do 2. You can get 100 extra points if you do a second 2 to 3 interview for a different company and a different position. And that's a really good, fun stretch, right? It's, okay, maybe you want to work for People's Bank, so this is a really good episode. But, I bet if you worked at People's Bank, you could also work at Home Depot. But you'd present yourself differently. And you probably could also do an entry-level job at Yale New Haven Hospital. But you'd present yourself differently in those contexts to that culture. So enjoy this. I think you'll find this to be a really useful, a really practical application of public speaking skills, and it'll get you thinking, and I think you'll enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the videos. And by the way, for those of you who celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. It's going to be a strange one. I'm missing family. I know many of you are, and friends. But I'm just so impressed by you guys for hanging in this semester as long as you have. I think that any of us are doing school right now is an act of courage and persistence and resistance against the pandemic and God knows against the political realities. But I really believe we're going to be on the other side. The vaccines are coming. It's going to be a rough couple months, but you can finish up this semester and know that you get karmic stars for doing this good hard work, for keeping up, for supporting each other, for reaching out to me, for keeping your families going during this time. It's a really tough time, and I'm so gosh damn proud of you guys for keeping it up, for hanging in there, and for pushing through. And I have lots to moan about, but when I'm counting my blessings on Thanksgiving, in our 2-person tiny little roast turkey breast Thanksgiving, you guys are going to be among the top of my list. I feel absolutely blessed for the opportunity of working with people who are as persistent, as ambitious, as kind to me and each other as you guys have been. So love and heart and thoughts and prayers, and have a safe, masked, and distant Thanksgiving. Okay, guys, see you next week.